Okay, so in example number 1, we're going to solve for 8 equals 4m by dividing both sides by 4. So we solve for that by dividing both sides by 4, giving 8 equals 4m divided by 4. So we get 2 is equal to m. And number 2, first you're going to multiply 3 times 8 to give you 24. And then we're going to solve for our variable by just subtracting 24 from both sides. And we get negative 30 is equal to b. And then in number 3, we have negative 2 equals 3x plus 5. So we're going to isolate the x by subtracting 5 from both sides. So you get negative 7 equals 3x. Divide both sides by 3. And we get x equals negative 7/3. So when solving for a variable, it doesn't matter if your variable is on the right or on the left. And they are symmetric, so they're equal. Today we're going to talk about a new form of an equation of a line. So the other day we talked about standard form. Standard form was ax plus by equals c. Today we're going to talk about slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope. And again, the other day we talked about slope. Slope is rise over run. And b is the y-intercept. So b is the y-intercept. And yesterday we talked about the y-intercept. The y-intercept occurs when the line crosses the y-axis and x is 0. All right. So it says find the slope of each line by rewriting the equation in y equals mx plus b form. So what we're going to do is rearrange the terms to solve for y. So to do that, I'm going to add 7x to both sides. So I have 2y equals 7x plus 8. And then to solve for y, I have to divide everything by 2. And when I divide out by 2, I want to divide every piece individually. So you get y equals 7 over 2x plus 4. And the slope is 7 over 2. It is what is being multiplied to the x. The x is not included in the slope. A lot of people try to write 7 over 2x. The x is not included. Your slope is 7/2. Number 2, once again, solve for y. So we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. Again, divide everything by 2. And my slope is negative 3/2. So what that means is on the graph, we are going down 3 and right 2. So when we're graphing this, you're going down 3 and right 2. In number 3, we're solving for y. So you're going to subtract 2/3 x. So again, this is why chapter 1, solving for a variable, was so important, because now we're solving for y. How do you get rid of 1/2? You multiply by your reciprocal. And that means you have to multiply everything on the right side by 2. So we get y equals negative 4/3 x plus 2. And my slope is negative 4/3. In example 4, this is an equation of a line in standard form. We're going to rewrite it in slope-intercept form. So we're going to subtract ax from both sides. Divide by b. And what that means is that the slope of an equation in standard form is always negative a divided by b. The slope from standard form is always negative a divided by b. Write an equation in slope-intercept form given that it intersects at negative 2. So it intersects the y-axis at negative 2. So that means that that is my y-intercept. So in standard slope-intercept form, that means that my b value is negative 2. That's the ordered pair. 0, negative 2. So we have where a graph intersects, and we have a second point on that graph. But what I don't have is the slope. So what I can do is use the slope formula to calculate slope. So it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it's like negative 2 plus 1, which is negative 1, over a positive 4. And from this graph, if you looked at your points, you could kind of see that as well. It went down 1 and over 4. So the equation of my line is y equals negative 1/4 x minus 2. Because I was given the b and I solve for m, I can plug into y equals mx plus b. Is everybody okay with that? Let's look at another similar example. The wording says that the line has a slope of 4/3. So that's like my m equals. It tells me it passes through the point 0, 4. Anytime the x value is 0, that's a fancy way of saying this is my y-intercept. So if you have 0, a number, that's your y-intercept, which means my b value is 4. So if I have m and I have b, then I plug into y equals mx plus b, and I get y equals 4/3 x plus 4. So just to sum it all back up, what is the general equation of a line in slope intercept form? That's y equals mx plus b. What is the formula for slope? You have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And what does the y-intercept represent? It represents the point where we cross the y-axis and x equals 0. You have about 15 minutes to do the front and the back of the next page. It is only 12 problems. It's only 12 problems. Make sure you give me everything I'm asking for. So it needs to be in slope intercept form. Yep,